Alrighty, so this is going to be your complete Klaviyo tutorial, free course, whatever you want to call it, for setting it up. And yes, I look like a child, but I've generated over $20 million just through Klaviyo for clients over the past 2 years. And I've been inside almost 100 different e-com brands at this point, and I've set up plenty of Klaviyo accounts. So we're just going to get right into how to set up your Klaviyo, how to optimize it, and then how to operate it over time. I'm going to have a ton of walkthroughs, and I'm going to be inside Klaviyo with you guys, walking you through exactly what I do for my clients. Alrighty, complete Klaviyo email marketing tutorial for anybody at any level. Now the contents of this video, just to be clear and so you can know what to expect, this video will be a full tutorial on setting up, running, and optimizing your email strategy for your brand. This is for you if you have an e-commerce brand, you're a local coffee shop, you're an agency owner, anything in between, you're trying to learn about email marketing in Klaviyo, this is for you. This tutorial will be biased towards e-commerce brands because that's where I have the most expertise in the past 3 years. More specifically, 2 years where I've directly attributed revenue. We'll be using the platform Klaviyo, which is an automation email sending platform where you can hold your list, track information, create automated flows to capture new customers, and increase customer lifetime value. And I myself have used Klaviyo to generate $20 million in e-commerce sales in just the past 12 months. And I've scaled e-commerce brands from $250,000 a month in revenue to over $1 million a month in revenue. Let me show you how you can use it to grow your e-commerce store without having to break the bank on paid ads. And again, why listen to me? You don't have to, but if you want to, here's some numbers to back it up. Myself, alongside my agency, have generated $20 million in email attributed revenue. Here's some screenshots of some client accounts, just like to prove I at least somewhat know what I'm doing. So you clicked on this video because you want to set up email marketing for your brand, and let's talk about why this is important now. Why email more than any other time, and why you shouldn't wait to get email installed. So e-commerce is exploding. We know this. Less people each year are buying from physical stores, and just the convenience of online shopping has led to e-commerce rise. And as a result, e-commerce will continue to grow year over year. More and more hopeful store owners, as a result, are popping up with the goal of cashing in on this gold rush of an opportunity that is e-com. You can see U.S. e-commerce retail sales here. COVID-19 really blew things up, and then it's only going up from there. And so let's talk about what this does. When you have e-commerce, everybody's trying to cash in on this gold rush, there's very low opportunity thanks to Shopify, dropshipping, AI, etc. So what does that mean? That means increased competition. So Shopify, dropshipping, and AI have enabled people to source a product from China, throw together an AI landing page, throw a couple grand of ad spend a day into a single ad, and they're going to produce numbers. They will, even if their product sucks. So what does that mean? The competition is growing, making it more important than ever for your current store owners to build upon your presence you already have, and then dominate your niche as soon as possible before Jimmy in his mom's basement passes him with his dropshipped store. And again, due to this e-commerce explosion, there have never been more options to market your business and drive traffic to your site. There's a lot of stuff that you can do, such as UGC, TikTok ads, influencer marketing, partnerships, Snapchat ads, Instagram ads, all these different ads to bring traffic to your site. And seeing all these opportunities will make any business owner foam at the mouth. I get it. I love messing around with all these things. And it's very fun to throw cash in your ads and just watch your site traffic go up. That's super fun. However, none of these are very practical for most e-commerce brands or brands in general, because a lot of these people, you're driving traffic, but you can't even convert these site viewers into buyers. And a lot of times you may think you have a traffic problem when in reality you have a conversion problem. So let's talk about the e-commerce problem specifically, and this is going to apply to all sorts of brands as well. Going back onto the previous point, over the past few years, it's increasingly difficult to actually get somebody to buy from you right when they visit your site. Near impossible, really. With the amount of internet scams out there, it's very hard for the modern customer to just click onto your site, see an ad, click on your site, and trust you enough to just buy your product on the spot. When was the last time you did that? Like, it just doesn't happen. If you've ever heard of the rule of 7, it's a theory that customers need to see your brand at least 7 times before they actually commit to a purchasing decision. And, you know, I can apply this to myself. I'm sure you can apply it to you. Like, I've been looking at different cold plunges, cold ice baths, one of those basic things that a lot of people are doing now. And there are a few different brands that, like, I've seen their ads and I keep getting their ads, but I haven't purchased because I, like, don't know which one I want. I've visited all their sites, but I've left. And that's just the truth of the matter, and that's how a lot of people go about these decisions. So what happens? You drive traffic to your site, and then these people just leave. And then you have to pay for retargeting ads, and eventually you could get to the point where you're breaking even on your cost of acquisition, and then the first purchase average order value, or the first purchase profit. So what does that mean? Little to no profit on the front end. The point of what I'm saying is that many brands are putting their focus in the wrong areas, areas that aren't proven. They're doing all these different acquisition systems, spending money on ads when sitting right in their Shopify is a powerhouse that top e-commerce brands are pulling in 40 to 50% of their total revenue from. Let's just review the e-commerce funnel here. You have awareness, consideration, conversion, and then loyalty. Awareness, pretty much just using paid ads and organic media for that. And then consideration, conversion, and loyalty, email and SMS are at the core of that, because as far as awareness, you grab their attention, you get them to the site, and then when people are considering, they want to learn more about your brand. That's why people sign up for email and SMS. Then you convert them over email and SMS once they've learned enough about you, and then you retain them through loyalty through email and SMS as well. And so here's kind of how this looks as well in a little bit more complicated version. You have attention capture up here on the top. It's a little bit blurry, but you have paid ads, word of mouth, SEO, organic social media, referrals. This is how you capture attention. And then those are all going to lead to site traffic. These people are going to check out your site. And you're going to make some money off of that. You will. Some people, very low percentage, 1%, are going to buy once they visit your site. Some money. And then if they don't convert, you're just going to have to go back to the top, and then you're going to have to you're going to have to use paid ads, wait until you come up again in conversation, SEO until it comes up naturally, organic social media, you're going to have to pay your social media team to get people's attention again, and this cycle will just keep on happening until you get some money. But what happens for the people where if you don't get money right off the bat, you want to be able to capture their information to where they're not just bouncing off your site and you're adios and you're never seeing them again. This is where sign-up forms and email lists come into play. Pop-up forms, sign-up pages, website embed forms, post-purchase sign-ups, all that. Then you can get a much higher percentage of people who just aren't ready to buy on the first go. Maybe somebody needs to see your brand 7 times. Now you could pay 7 times over ads, or you can do 7 times, send them 7 emails, and that's much cheaper. So then these people enter the email list. And then email list, they have 2 sets, and we'll talk about these later. You have campaigns and you have flows. Campaigns are the one-time emails that you send to the list, where it's like email blast that you send to the list, and then flows are the automated email systems, where it's essentially somebody completes an action, such as they abandon a cart or they join the email list. We want to send them a sequence of emails that are automated. But again, on a wide lens, you pay for website clicks through paid ads, you get their information when they visit the site, and you convert them in the back end with email. That's what we want to do. Email marketing is at the core of every e-commerce business. It's not the sexy new thing on the market. It's not the new AI tool for TikTok, but it's the most reliable and it's the most profitable. And guess what? It's the cheapest. Would you rather spend more money marketing to cold traffic through paid ads or spend less money to people who already know, like, and trust you? It's so simple, but so easy to overlook. You need to be putting a lot more time and money into your email list. The truth is you can't scale efficiently and profitably if you aren't converting at a high clip in the front end, or else you're just going to be churning through site traffic, spending a ton on paid ads. With the mediocre system in place, you're just burning the leads that you just paid top dollar to acquire and bring to your site. Once you have site and email conversions down, only then can you start exploring new acquisition methods, pay up on your paid ads, and have the freedom to experiment. Because if you don't, people are just going to go to your site and leave. You want to be able to capture every last little drop of the site traffic that you paid for. Now, to reiterate on email, there are 4.26 billion email users in the world. 89% of the people check their email inbox at least once a day in the US. So what does that tell you? The email inbox is the most concentrated form of attention that exists on the planet. It's not like TikTok, it's email. Everybody checks their email. By simply being there, you will maintain attention and you will stay at the top of mind with your customers. And if you aren't, people will go try all these other brands. If you're not sending emails, being in their face every day, they're going to forget about you. And they're going to try out this new brand that they just saw a TikTok ad for. Email is the cheapest form of attention, and it just costs a fraction of a cent compared to paid ads. So just as a summary as why this is important right now, e-commerce is more competitive than ever. It's almost impossible to get somebody to buy from you the first time they visit your site. Email allows you to educate and cross that trust border for cheap rather than having to pay for retargeting ads. And by sending emails, you inevitably will stay top of mind, which will increase retention and revenue long term without having to pay on paid ads. And email is cheap. It helps you scale profitably. All right, now you know email marketing is important, so let's get started. So you can't send emails without an ESP, which is an email service provider, unless you just want to send manually through your Gmail to your list, but that's not very efficient, and that's just not reasonable for any brand that's over 5 customers. So these ESP softwares allow you to design your emails, send out your emails, and store your list data. Do not overcomplicate this. Use Klaviyo. I've used all of them. MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, Omnisend, Drip, all of that. Klaviyo is the only true option, especially as you scale. Just do it now. Just be on Klaviyo. If you're on another platform, just switch to Klaviyo now so you don't have to worry about it. Klaviyo is the best. And if you want to save like $50 a month, then I don't know. Maybe you can do that with other platforms, but you really just doesn't really matter. So Klaviyo integrates with Shopify very, very smoothly. All you have to do is create a Klaviyo account. So if you have a store, just get set up just right here. Literally, this is all you fill out, and then they'll walk you through the whole entire process. And you'll be able to follow their easy-to-follow instructions, integrate with Shopify or any other e-com provider that you are using with their platform. They also have an excellent support team, and they'll be able to help you with any integration questions that you may have. So once you integrate, so just follow their instructions. It literally does not take long, should not take you more than a day. You just kind of have to install the embed on Klaviyo. And so once you are inside of Klaviyo, this is how your integration pages should look. So if you go here, this is inside Klaviyo. When you're inside your dashboard, you will see this. But if you go down to settings, which is down here, and then go to integrations, this is how it should look. You should see Shopify here, and you should see status is enabled. That should be how it looks. And then, if you click onto Shopify, this is what you want to see. This is exactly how you want to see. You want to see that on-site tracking is enabled here. We want to check this box, add viewed product to my site. This is going to be helpful later. This is for helping us set up flows and track customer data, like if somebody views a product and leaves, if somebody goes to checkout and then leaves. And then you're going to want to sync your Shopify email subscribers to Klaviyo. Just put them on the basic list, newsletter, and yeah. So we will talk about this more later on. And just a warning sign here. So again, this is more talking to right here. If you have this integration, you're not done because you need to have the full integration to make sure that you're tracking all the different triggers. And so make sure you have enabled on-site tracking, which is this button here. The instructions are right in here. I've also attached them here. You want to be able to monitor customers as they view products, start checkout, all this stuff, and create automations. Here's an article on how to enable on-site tracking. It's just right here. It walks you through the whole entire process. On-site tracking is super easy. You just check mark something in Klaviyo. You just go, once you're in Klaviyo, if you don't have on-site tracking, it'll bring you this link, and you can literally just click this link here. It's going to take you directly to Shopify in the Klaviyo app embed. All you have to do is switch a toggle, save the theme, and then it'll be complete. Super easy. And then also, so that's not all of it. So what this is going to give you is viewed product, active on site, and checkout started triggers. But we also want to have an added to cart trigger. Added to cart is different than checkout started. And Shopify doesn't automatically do that, so you have to do that manually. This is a little bit more advanced, but you need to have added to cart, because if you're only tracking checkout started, you're missing out on anybody who just adds to their cart. So these are different, have different triggers. Again, abandoned checkout and abandoned cart. Follow this blog here. I'll go over here just so you can see how it looks like, how to create an added to cart event for Shopify. You have to physically go into your theme and add a snippet. You add this snippet to your site. And in most cases, you're going to want to follow these instructions if your store has custom liquid blocks. If your store doesn't have custom liquid blocks, you're going to have to actually manually go into the code. This is super easy to do if you have custom liquid blocks. If not, you're going to have to follow these instructions, and in both cases, you're going to have to copy and paste this snippet and then test it by using a UTM of email testing, and then you'll be able to see if your trigger fired. Now, we're not quite done with getting set up. We need to get the deliverability technicalities. There are new sender requirements for Google and Yahoo as of 2024, and also there's just some best practices that you need for deliverability. So first thing is you need a dedicated sending domain. And so if you follow these exact steps here, go to this article so you can see it, how to set up branding, branded sending domain. So with email, you're sending from a certain address and you don't want to have the via klavioemail.com. This is actually a requirement from Google and Yahoo. So if you follow these instructions, you're essentially just like getting DNS records from Klaviyo and adding that to your domain and creating your sending domain. This can be a little bit more technical, so you can shoot me an email if you have any questions, but it is a necessary thing that you do need to have. And then you need to set up DMARC on your domain. DMARC is essentially just going to help you with deliverability, and it is a requirement, or else you're pretty much just going to be guaranteed to go to spam. So here's another article for getting that set up, understanding email authentication, and then if you go down to DMARC, you can understand this, and then it's also going to tell you how to install it. I've also put the instructions here. Set up DMARC. This is what you need to do. Log into your domain's DNS settings, and once logged in, create a new record with this information. This is literally all you need to do. It's super easy. It seems all technical and all this stuff, but literally just go to your DNS settings and create these records, and then that's all you need to do. And then you can just look up DMARC Authenticator on Google and then plug in your domain, and that site will tell you if you have DMARC successfully installed. And then, so those are the two main ones, and then you need to ensure that your reply to addresses on all your emails have the same root domain. So for example, you cannot have a sending domain send@getnike.com, and then your reply to address is support@nike.com, because getnike right here is different from nike.com. That's going to send you to spam as well. So you can just set that in Klaviyo settings, just have your automatic reply to be the same. I know some brands have different domains, but you have to make sure that that is set up correctly. Alrighty, so now we're going to get into some of the nitty gritty, and then I'm going to show you inside Klaviyo, inside an actual e-commerce brand's account, and just kind of like walk you around so you can get familiar with it. So right off the bat, here's just a diagram of the Klaviyo home dashboard. And so just a quick walk through here, we have this section here. This is just going to be your total store revenue, and they're just going to track that for you. And so there's a total store revenue from Shopify, and this is going to be your Klaviyo attributed revenue. So how much money actually came from email and SMS marketing if it's inside of Klaviyo. That's what this tells you. And something to note, you can't take the attributed revenue like straight to heart, like $28,000 here is directly attributed to email. Attributions always, it can never be perfect, because imagine you open an email, you click onto the site, and then you don't purchase, and then a day later you're like, oh yeah, that email, that reminds me, I forgot to purchase, and then you go back and purchase. It's like, how is that being attributed? So Klaviyo, typically they say if somebody clicks an email and they purchase within 3 to 5 days, they count it as email revenue. So usually it's a little bit inflated, but there's no perfect way to track it. Some to note there with Klaviyo attributed revenue. And then right here you can see the percentage of your total revenue that comes from email and SMS marketing. So typically you want to be anywhere from 30 to 50%. If you're over that, say you're at like 60%, that tells you, okay, let's funnel some of our profits back into paid ads. If you're anywhere under 30%, 40%, then that tells you, okay, our email systems can be improved. And then right here, there's another important part, campaigns versus flows revenue. Here, this is just the percentage of revenue coming from campaigns, the one-time emails sent to your list. And this is the percentage that's coming from flows, which are the automated emails. Typically, you want to be around 50-50 or 40-60, 60-40, anywhere in that range. Depends on the business setup, but in most cases, that's what you want to shoot for. So if you look at a brand like this and you see 14% from flows, that tells you, like, okay, the flows could use a lot of improvement. And then up here, if you want to change the dashboard analytics, you can just click on time period. And so right now we can see this is doing January 27th, 2024 to February 26th, 2024. So a 30-day period, and it's comparing these numbers. If you see over previous period, the comparison period is just the prior 30-day period. So that's the main dashboard. And then you have top performing flows down here. So you have the name of the flows, and then like how much revenue they did, and then percent change. Then over here, this is the main nav bar. I'll show you around here. Your brand name will be here. And then you have just the different sections of Klaviyo. So let's go over to this live Klaviyo account. This is a completely new brand, fresh brand, just started, and let's just walk around Klaviyo here. So we have the homepage just like I showed you. only $590 in the last 30 days, only 47 from email. And yeah, let's just go through. So we have the home page here, and then we have campaigns, flows, reviews, sign-up forms, audience, which is a drop-down, content, which is a drop-down here, and then analytics as well. So let's look at campaigns. So campaigns, this is where you send the campaigns to your huge email list or certain segments of your email list. The emails, campaigns are the emails where you click a button and they send right away or schedule. And so if you click create a campaign up here, you can name something, test campaign, select the date. Maybe we want to send it for March 5th, save and continue. We want to do an email. And then we get taken to recipients page, which is, okay, who do we want to send to? You can pick who you want to send to, newsletter, who you don't want to send to, make sure they're filtered out. Let's not send to news subscriptions. Skip recently emailed profiles. Typically you want to send that off. Continue to content, and then this is going to be your actual email builder. So this is your subject line. So I'm sure you know what a subject line is. And then preview text, preview. And that's essentially just like completely, that's how you do everything. And so then we have here drag and drop is that's how I recommend creating your emails. So you can see inside Klaviyo, they have a ton of templates that you can use if you just want to use this template, or you can create a blank email. For this sake, let's just use a template and we can move things around. So let's do something like this. Let's use template, and then we'll be taken into the Klaviyo editor. I'll show you more about this later on, but this is the Klaviyo editor. You have different blocks that you can drag, like a text block. You have image blocks. Everything that you need is right here, but super simple. You just edit the text however you want to, and you can view on desktop and then how it will look on mobile as well. So super simple, super easy, and yeah, that's kind of how that works. And then say it's complete, click save, and then you can continue to review, and then this is where you would send it out. You're just ready to send it, schedule or send, and boom, that's how you do it. Now let's go to the flows tab. There are flows set up for this brand, and so you have all the different triggers for, these are the automated flows. So browse abandon, cart abandon, checkout abandon, post-purchase, site abandon, sunset, welcome, win back. These are the recommended flows when just starting out. So you'll be able to see the revenue per recipient, everything of that matter will be recorded here. So if we went to, let's go to the checkout abandon flow. Then you'll be able to see the flow journey. So what's happening in the flow? Where the trigger's happening, we're sending a time delay, and then we're sending an email, another time delay, another email, and then we're splitting by the different products. What did they leave behind in their order? And then more emails. And this is the editor. You drag in emails that you want to do for the customer journey, time delays here. And then just like with campaigns, if you just click on to here and click edit, then you'll actually be able to edit the emails that are inside. And then it's just going to look just like campaigns in designing a campaign. So this is just seeing how the flows are mapped. So let me zoom out here, exit, and that's flows. And then we have, if you do reviews inside of Klaviyo, you can do it here, or if you use a different platform, then that's fine. But if you want to add reviews, you can add review emails here. And then important, we have sign-up forms. So sign-up forms are essentially the pop-ups and embed forms and everything like that. So yeah, and again, these numbers are really bad, and because typically you want to shoot for 6 to 12% of your total email revenue. Or 6 to 12% of your total site traffic. And so you can see here with this form, this mobile form is converting 0.7% of people who view the site. So if 1,000 people view the site, what is that? 7 people are purchasing. Or 7 people are signing up. That's not what you want. You want to be at least 6 to 12%. So, excuse me. So if you have 1,000 people viewing your site, you want to have at least 60 to 120 people. That's for mobile, same as desktop. You have these different forms. And then creating sign-up forms, we'll go over this later, but you essentially just create a template and then put it on your site, and you're good to go. Now let's talk about the audience section. Audience, you have exactly as you want, exactly how it sounds. Growth tools, if you just want to have an overview of what growth tools you use, I I'm inside a lot of Klaviyo accounts and I never visit this page. I never really view profiles either. This is if you're looking for somebody specific, you can search for someone. But really, all that really matters is you want the lists in segments. And so lists and segments is where you can create different segments of your email list based on conditions. So you can see here, like engaged 60 days, we can look at this list and we can see this person, in order for these 258 members, these people have to be in the newsletter. They have to have opened email at least once in the last 60 days, or clicked an email in the last 60 days, or they've been recently added to the newsletter in the last 30 days. And so that's how these segments work. You can segment by all these different things. Let's walk through one here. Create segment. Let's do test, and then we can say abandoners, people who have abandoned something. So you go to definition here, and then just fill out whatever you want. Let's do what somebody has done. Then I'm going to say they checkout started. So they started checkout at least once in the last 30 days. We'll do that. And then let's just do that, and they've placed order 0 times in the last 30 days. So what this is going to tell us is people who have abandoned checkout in the last 30 days. And then we can create the segment, and then we'll be able to see how many people actually did that. Quick water break. And so that's the segments. Let's wait for this one to load. All right, the segment loaded, and you can see that there are 8 members who did that. They met these conditions of checkout started, but placed order. They did place. Okay, so I messed up the definition. So this is great. Great example of being able to update. So you just go to update definition if you want to change it, and then we'll do placed order 0 times. So they've checkout started, but they've actually placed order 0 times, and then we're going to have, it looks like 2 are going to meet this requirement. But let's check it out. And yep, so this loaded up, and there have been 2 people in the last 30 days who meet these requirements of checkout started at least once and placed order 0 times in the last 30 days. So segments are very useful to get different levels of engagement of your list and just get a better understanding of where they're at in the customer journey. So next we can go to content. This is where if you want to create templates for your brand, you can create templates. You can look at past templates, and then say you have a template that you like, you can save it in the saved templates section, and that's where you can do that. So if you want to create a template, you can just create a blank email up here, and it's going to take you to just the regular email builder, and you can go from there, put in all your logos, put in all your colors, all that stuff. Then if you want to go to products, again, I don't really use this, but that's there. Images and branding, so this will get put into like unsubscribe pages. So you can upload images there and name them. Then you have coupons. If you want to create coupons inside of Klaviyo, which we will talk about later, then you can do that here. And then you have what's very useful as well. So kind of the main things that you use on Klaviyo is the homepage for an overall look. You have campaigns for actually sending. You spend most of your time here, campaigns and flows. And then you have the audience, lists and segments, pop-up forms, and then you have the analytics. So typically, I just look at the dashboards. You also have metrics, and you have all this other fun stuff. So you can go to dashboards, and you can look at your analytics over whatever period you want, and it'll give you all the information you need. If you want to look at a specific thing, you can add a card. You can create an analytic from scratch, or use some of their pre-made ones. Super cool, super easy, and yeah, you can create new dashboards as well if you want to do something like specific to just campaigns dashboard and only show campaign stats, flows dashboard. Super easy. I use dashboards a lot. You have experiments, which is just A to B tests. You can see your A to B tests that you're running. And then you have metrics. You can see what's actually firing. So like, for example, added to cart, we had to add manually. Let's see if it's firing correctly. Yes, people are actually abandoning or adding to their cart, and it's being tracked. That's perfect. And then you have all these different metrics where you can actually track how often they're being triggered. We have benchmarks. This is helpful if you don't really know what you're doing in terms of like email marketing. So you can put your industry and access benchmarks for that industry. Looks like there was an error there, but you'll be able to see like what open rates should I shoot for, what click rates, and all that jazz. You have deliverability here, and then you have custom reports here if you want custom reports to be sent to your email. And then conversations, so essentially just SMS, what are people responding back with? And so, yeah, that's essentially the full Klaviyo walkthrough of just like on a base level What do all these sections take you to, and what is their purpose? Now let's go over everything that you need to understand with email. So we have 5 main things. We have pop-up forms, campaigns, flows, segmentation, and then deliverability. That's really all there is to it. So pop-up forms, how to grow your list, campaigns, email blasts, large lists that are sent manually. So that's, I like to think of like casting a wide net, like you're fishing with a wide net, gathering a bunch of people, hopefully hoping that some of them are good. And then you have flows, which are the automated emails that fire when a customer does a specified action. I think of that as like fly fishing. You're directly placing, sending that email to like one specific person at a certain time. And then we have segmentation, which is different subsections of your email list. So using segments in that list section in Klaviyo, and then figuring out like for your campaigns, like how do we want to split up our list to be able to send targeted messaging to them? And then last, we have deliverability, which is ensuring that your emails are actually landing in the inbox and not in the spam folder. That's another very important piece of email marketing that we have to understand. So that's all there is to it. Now, let's talk about them. All right, so up first, we have pop-up forms, which are essentially how you grow your email list. And that's when you go to a website. It's the pop-up that puts up in your face, usually has an incentive of some kind for you to join, enter your email address, and you get the incentive. So we have some examples here. I'm sure you've seen them and you recognize them. Get 10% off, sign up here. These are actually like solid, really pretty pop-up forms. A lot of things I would change with them to make them convert better, but this is kind of what you can expect. And then here's like another example using free shipping rather than like a discount. And then here's one where it's like unlock 15% off by telling us what you're shopping for. So pop-up forms may seem trivial, where it's just like, oh yeah, let's capture a few email addresses and that'll be nice, we can grow our list. But they are so important. And just to like drive this home, here's some math. Say you have 10,000 site visitors, just for ease of numbers, 10,000 website visitors per month and an average order value of $100. In your welcome flow revenue, usually you can get $10 or 10% of conversions. That's like kind of gold standard, where it's in your welcome flow is essentially after somebody signs up, like, hey, you've joined the email list, here's your discount, and then a couple other emails just like about the brand. Usually you can convert 10% of people who enter the email list. If you have a 3% pop-up, that's $3,000 per month. An industry, kind of the industry average for pop-up forms is 3%. What we see on average for our clients is 10% pop-up form. If you go from 3% to 10% just by changing your pop-up form a little bit, this thing, like maybe getting 10%, making it higher, removing all this, and having like some other quick copy or a better picture that shows what 10% value is, just by changing those little things, you turn your revenue from $3,000 a month in the welcome flow to $10,000 a month. Just by changing things a little bit in your form. Now that seems very trivial, but it's that easy. For 10,000 site visitors, 100, that's exactly what it looks like. So yeah, pop-up forms are important. So kind of just to reiterate on why we need pop-up forms. People don't just buy right off your site. They don't. We've talked about this. It's very hard to get somebody to buy off your site, but you still want to be able to not just say goodbye to this person and pay on retargeting ads. You need to build relationships, and you need a medium to continue to sell to them, which also plays into retention. But the main problem is just most brands I audit have a form that only converts 2 to 3%, and that's kind of industry average. So let's look at this example. Here's the welcome flow revenue by month for this e-commerce brand from June to the end of October. Here we have June, August, September, and then October. Notice here, they're sitting at around $7,000 a month, a little bit over, a little bit under, around $7,000 a month in the welcome flow. Then October, it shoots up to $25,000, $7,000 to $25,000. How did this happen? This was one of our clients. And we did not touch a single email in their welcome flow. We didn't touch an email. All we did was improve the conversions of their pop-up form. Their prior form was converting at 2.5%, meaning 2.5% of website visitors would give their email address and enter the welcome flow. 2.5%. We upgraded theirs to 8.75%. And that's the difference in revenue. 2.5% form, 8.75% form. We didn't touch any emails in the welcome flow. So let's look at the difference, just like break down the numbers. Before and after of their form before and our form after. Average order value was the same, $93. Monthly site visitors was the same, 30,000 people per month. Form conversion rate was 2.5% before and 8.75% after. So all this is the same. So as a result, new email subscribers was 750 on average per month. Then after, 2,625 because we had more people opting in. And the Welcome Flow revenue, 7,000, 25,000. We 3.5x'd the conversions of the form, and in turn, 3.5x the amount of people entering the email list, and 3.5x the amount of revenue in the Welcome Flow, just by changing a few things in the pop-up. And again, this table uses simplified math and rounded numbers, so it's easier to follow. Just something to note there. But that's easy money. And these are people who you will constantly be able to sell to. 750 people, and then 2,625. You'll always be able to sell to these people because they are on your email list. And not everybody's going to buy in the first 1 week in the Welcome Flow. And that doesn't even take into account the future purchases, these numbers that these subscribers will make, which is likely more than one. If you have solid retention systems in place, these people are probably buying more than one. So over a full year for this brand, that's a difference of six figures, $150,000 just from that pop-up. And 22,500 email subscribers, assets you can continually sell to. That is why forms are so important and why I put it like as one of the pillars of email marketing. They're the top of the funnel. With nobody entering the funnel, it's pretty hard to expect good returns. So now let's actually build a pop-up form in Klaviyo. So let's go into Klaviyo, and then here is the sign-up form section inside of Klaviyo. We're just going to create a sign-up form, and I'm going to show you exactly like kind of how to structure it and everything that you need. So this is a solid template right here. You have all these different templates that you can use as a sign-up form. Now, the main things we want to focus on with the sign-up form is we want as little words as possible, and we want the offer to be clear and in your face. That's the main thing we want. So let's go up to the top here. Let's do an email and an SMS form. Let's just do this top one. This is a solid form. Functionality is solid. So let's just do test. And then we need to put in the email subscriber list. What newsletter are they joining? And then SMS subscribers when they join, where are they entering? And then let's create form, and let's play around with the editor. So this is kind of how it looks like. My screen is a little bit tight right now, so this looks a little bit messed up. If I were to go like this, then it would be a little bit blown up. And this is how it looks like on a desktop. And then if you want to do it on mobile, you can just go to this corner here and look at it on mobile. That's mainly what we want to focus on. So we're going to make this a mobile-only form, and then we'll create a separate desktop-only form. So we're just going to show on, let's go to the top. So this is like, oops, looks like you can't see this section. So styles here, this is like the main dashboard kind of pop-up forms. So targeting behavior, let's do that first. How are people seeing this form? So first off, we just want a mobile form. We just want this to be mobile. That's all I'm going to go over. We're going to do mobile only. So now we can see what it looks like on mobile. And then here's what we want to talk about next, timing. Now you don't want to do immediate trigger pop-up forms just because that's going to hurt the customer experience, and like nobody right when they visit a website wants to see, hey, take this discount. It's just, you don't want to do that. And so you want to do some sort of trigger. So timing, usually you want to do based on rules. That's what you want to do. And then you can do when a visitor is exiting the page, which is exit intent, which doesn't really work well. I would stay away from that. After time delay, which is what I highly recommend. After a visitor has scrolled a certain amount, you can do like 60% of the page. Or after a visitor sees a certain number of pages, so they click around on your site, maybe like they've seen 3 pages, then you'll show them the pop-up form. I recommend doing a time delay. And usually you're going to want between 6 to 12 seconds. For this, let's just do 8 seconds. So after somebody goes to the site, after 8 seconds, they'll see this pop-up form. And then we want to go down here, frequency. So this is like if somebody closes the form, how soon after they close it are we going to show them this form again? 5 days is fine. And that's perfect. We're only showing on mobile, and yeah, so this is perfect. And then targeting, if you want to, in terms of like who you want to show the form to. Do you want it to be to everybody, even people who already have an email address? Usually you're just going to want to don't show to existing Klaviyo profiles, so people who aren't already set up. You can also make it so you're only showing on certain URLs and you're excluding the form from certain URLs like product pages. Maybe you want to leave out the URL. And you could also take out certain UTMs. So that's how that is. The main thing is you just want to show based on rules. Some sort of time delay between 6 and 12 seconds is usually what what's good. The longer you wait, the less people will see the form, because if you have a trigger that's like 30 seconds, then not everybody's on your site for 30 seconds, so not a lot of people will see the form. So there's like a balance you need to play. Your frequency, and then you have what devices do you want to show on. And then we can get to styles. So this is like the overall functionality of the form, and the overall look of the form is we have styles. And so you can have a pop-up, you can have a full page form where it's technically not full page because this is like the website in the background, but essentially what full page means is that somebody can't like click out of this section. Whereas pop-up, if somebody like clicked down here, this is just a pop-up. Whereas this is an overlay across the whole screen. Typically, full page is the way to go, so people don't accidentally click out of like your pop-up. You could also have a flyout, which is something like that. And then you could also have an embed where it's like actually inside your site. So for this, let's just do a pop-up. It's the simplest, it's the most basic. So you can pick the width, whatever you want to do, medium, but don't really want to do that. You can go to large. It's just essentially like how much of your content is there, and then we can just go back to custom. And if you want to set like your minimum height and all that jazz, let's just do large for now. And minimum height, let's make it, what if we did 600? $500, I guess it is. So I guess a lot of this is just like playing around with it. What if we made the width 800? Okay, that looks a lot better. Perfect. Let's do 800, 500. Then if you want to do images, you can do images as well. Looks like that was messed up there. So a lot of times these are very finicky, and so you have to like play around with them. Let's set a minimum height of like 800 now. Let's try 1,000. How does that look? Okay, that's good. We're just gonna have to change the text size here, which we'll get to. Let's go back to styles, and then if you want, you can have background color, change the background color, all this stuff. You can figure out whatever you want to do, and then different paddings across them. But yeah, let's just get to the actual text. So limited time, 10% off. This is where you want to change the text size. So right here, we'll do we'll take 10% off. We'll do take 10% off, put these on different levels, so 10% off is much more clear. And then we can make 10% off bigger, take 10% off. And then you really don't need anything else. People save on your first order and get email-only offers when you join. Like, people know what they're getting when they join an email list. So I usually just take this off. So we can have take 10% off, and maybe we do like your first order is something helpful to put. So your first order. Let's make this a lot smaller. Okay, we don't want it to go down, so let's do your first order. Remove this and edit the spacing here, the line spacing, because this looks just real awkward. We can go here to line spacing. What if we made you 75? Nope. How about 100? How about 200? So you can see a lot of this is just super finicky, and you figure it out as you go, and you just mess around with things. So we'll say take 10% off your first order. The only thing is we need to adjust the spacing between these two now. All right, so I didn't want to bore you with all that, so I created this. We have take 10% off your first order. Now we just want to make sure that this is bigger. So we have this button. We can do that first. We'll make the button, let's make the height like 100. How's that? That looks pretty good. And then let's make the text much bigger as well. You don't want to say continue, because then this person is thinking like, oh shoot, I have to do more to fill out this form. So we just want to say something like unblock offer, to where it's like, okay, I just click this button and now I have the offer. But little do they know we have the SMS offer next. So then we need to make the input field larger. So input field styles, that's just in the main style section. It'll take you back here. Input field height, let's make you 100 and see how that looks. Perfect. And then let's make the email text email. Perfect. Now we have a solid form. Now it might be a good idea to put your logo right up here, but I mean, this looks pretty solid. maybe add some padding here on the bottom so that this is a little bit more spread out from the email section. Then perfect. You have an X here at the top. Maybe you want to make that a little bit bigger so people don't get upset. Perfect. And then we have SMS opt-in. So to save some time, I'm going to just clone this and create a new SMS opt-in. I don't want to fix all of the text sizes. So, also, like if I didn't show you before, these are like the different levels of the steps. So you have email opt-in, SMS opt-in, and then yeah. So this SMS opt-in is a button. So after somebody clicks the button, there's an SMS keyword, and then they'll be driven to their phone app, to their phone text message app, to where they click join, to where they send this text, it's auto-loaded, and then they join. When they send it, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but in this case, we're just going to delete the SMS opt-in and put our own. So let's clone this. Then we'll do SMS opt-in, and we want to make it like the same as email. We don't want to confuse the viewer. So we're just going to remove the email section. We're going to put in the SMS section. So phone number. And then, boom. Now we have this. We have the SMS disclosure, which you need to have, which is essentially just you agree to email marketing or you agree to SMS marketing messaging. Maybe you want to fix the spacing up here. You can do that yourself. I won't spend too much time on this. But then you have this, and then somebody unlocks offer here. We are putting them to list to submit to. We want the SMS to go to SMS subscriptions. After submit, it'll show them the next step, which is the success page, which you can make this bigger and do something like this. Thanks for signing up. Let's add an enter here, and then we'll put you as like 50. Check your mobile device. Perfect. And then boom, that is our form, and this is going to be a solid converting form because the offer is clear and in your face. Maybe make the text a little bit lower, but you can experiment with this on your own. You have clear offer in your face, 10% off, SMS opt-in, and then the success page. And then you can just click publish, and then it'll go live. Now, I highly recommend doing A to B tests. So in terms of like testing your pop-up forms, what's going to convert better. So you can create A to B test here, and then you can just do version A, and then version B, test 3.2, and then this will load, and then you have version A and version B here. So maybe for version B, we want to do smaller text. See if that's too much in somebody's face if they have large text. So then let's do 50, and then let's do 50. And then you can adjust the spacing on this and just make it smaller, maybe move this inside, but make it a smaller form, and then apply the same to SMS, and then continue to test settings. This will take you to the test page where you have the options, you have the versions. You can do a weighted test, so if one starts outperforming the other, it'll continue to show it more. Or you just do manual, where 50% of viewers are going to see version A, 50% are going to see version B. And then you just publish, and then you are good to go. All right, so now let's talk about segmentation. So, what, why, how? What? Segments are dynamic lists within your list that you can set based on certain parameters for somebody to join. Now, why do you want this? You want to get to know your audience and where they stand engagement-wise and where they're at in the customer journey, and be able to target them in your campaigns. And then you also just want to keep your list clean, so you can create certain sections of your list where it's like this person hasn't opened or clicked an email in a long time. You want to stop sending them emails so you don't hurt your reputation. So how do we do this? Under lists and audience in Klaviyo, you just set your parameters under segments for the segment you want to create, which we've kind of showed you, and I'm going to physically be creating some more segments with you. So one thing to really focus on here, and I want to harp on, is never send campaigns to your whole email list. Stop it. Do not just blast out your emails. There are a ton of dead profiles in your email list, which is just inevitable. And these are people who it's an email address, but it's a random email address. They just wanted to get the discount and see if they could get the discount. So it's a random email address, or it's people where, like, for some reason they have parameters on their email inbox where, like, most brands just immediately go to spam. Those are people who will never open your emails because you're automatically going to spam. You don't want to send them more emails to keep getting flagged as spam. And then also, just people who aren't interested in the brand any longer, you don't want to continue to send them emails. And so yeah, if you continue to send to them, you'll just hurt your reputation. So let's talk about kind of the main segments that you want to set up. And I've attached the definitions for them. I'll create a couple with you. But we have the engaged lists. So 30-day engaged, 60-day, 90-day, 120-day, 180-day. Same parameters, just different time frames. This is just people who are engaged on your email list. They're opening emails. So they've opened email at least once in the past 30 days. Or they've clicked an email at least once in the past days. Sometimes Klaviyo will track a click but not the open. And can receive email marketing because person is subscribed. Don't want to email people who aren't subscribed. So we have all the engaged lists, so you can see like if there's a big drop off after like 90 to 120, you can be like, okay, the average like time span for somebody being engaged on the profile. Like usually after they've engaged, if they haven't engaged in 90 days, we can just boot them out rather than 120. But for bigger events, bigger news in the brand, you can expand your list. Like if it's a massive Black Friday sale, you usually want to send to a larger list, like your 180-day engaged or your whole newsletter. Whereas like with your regular campaigns that you're sending multiple times a week, you just want to focus on sending that to like your 60-day engaged, people who actually want to open your emails. And then some other things you can do are like non-buyers, so it's placed an order 0 times and they're subscribed to the list. 1 times purchasers, they've placed order 1 time. 2 times purchasers, 3 times purchasers. Then you can have something like window shoppers. They've viewed a product at least twice in the past 30 days. They've added to their cart at least once, or checkout started at least once, and they haven't placed an order. That's going to be a valuable segment to where you can see like how like these are the people who are high intent. You can send them a couple more emails in your campaigns. So let's go on ahead and create one of these just so you can see it. Let's create a 30-day engaged list here. Let's go to audience, lists and segments, create new, create segment. Then we'll do test 30-day engaged. We'll go what somebody has done. We want to say opened an email at least once in the last 30 days. Then we're going to click or. You can either do or and. But we're going to do or somebody has done, clicked email right here at least once in the last 30 days. Then we want to do and because we want everybody in this list to meet these parameters where they can or cannot receive email marketing. They can receive email marketing because they are subscribed. And then we can create this segment. And then if we want to create like our 60, 90, 120-day segments, you can literally just clone this. You can just clone. And then this is the clone, and then you just change it to 60, and then change these parameters to 60. And then you will be all set there, 60 days, and then clone segment, and then you are good to go. And then create that for all of them. While these are processing, you can do your, let's do the window shoppers segment. Window shoppers that we've talked about. So if we go back down to the definition, they've viewed product at least twice or they've added to their cart. So what someone has done, let's go to viewed product at least 2 or added to cart at least once in the last 30 days or checkout started at least once in the past 30 days. And so they've either done one of these and they haven't placed an order. That's how we be sure that these are window shoppers. They haven't actually purchased. And has placed an order. Has not. And then create segment, and then we'll be able to do that. You could also add the segment of, or the condition, somebody can receive email marketing because they're subscribed. For now, we won't worry about that. But yeah, so right here, this is a completely new list for this brand. So the 30 and 60 day are the same. But you can see the members right here. And you can see created. And then we'll have window shoppers here as well start coming in. So that's segments, and then you're able to use segments. So let's go create a campaign. Let's go back to our campaign that we made earlier. We have this test campaign. It's beautiful, and we don't want to send it to our whole newsletter. We have 259 people on the newsletter, but if we look at our engaged 30-day list, only 53 of them are engaged. So that's what we want to do. We only want to send to this engaged list. So we're just sending to the engaged 30 days. Anybody who's in that list will receive their emails, will receive this email. That's where segments are important. That's the number one use case of segments, is making sure that you're only sending to active profiles. And you also have just like getting to understand your list. You can look at buyers based on like the collection. Like these people have bought shorts, these people have bought t-shirts. And then you can send campaigns where it's like, you've bought a t-shirt before, we just released this new t-shirt, everything like that. That's where segments are useful. Let's look at window shoppers. We have 8 people in the window shoppers segment. And so yeah, maybe you want to send an email being like, hey, you've been eyeing our store. Here's 10% off. Hopefully this helps you make the decision. And so that's where you really get the value of segmentation. Alrighty, so we've talked about pop-up forms and segmentation. Now let's actually talk about sending these people emails. So first, we're starting off with campaigns. Now, campaigns, kind of like I said earlier, these are the cast a wide net we're going to send to a bunch of people. And, you know, these are like the typical email blast that you think of. So what, why, how? Campaigns. Campaigns are the one-time emails sent out to the whole list or a specific segment of your list. An example would be a flash sale email sent to people who have never bought from your brand. That would be an example of a segment, someone who's never bought from your brand, and the campaign is the flash sale email. And so, why? Stay in your customer's face by consistently sending branded emails 2+ times per week. You want to give news on upcoming products, trends, etc. Send discounts and sales for holidays and all that jazz. But the main thing is we just want to stay in our customer's face at all times. And then how? Send in Klaviyo's campaign section and specify your lists for who you want to send to. So let's talk about campaigns a little bit. Campaigns play mostly into the concept of the attention economy and owning the mind share of your niche. So if you've ever heard of the attention economy, it's that essentially like we're less focused on actual like paying for products. We're focused on paying for attention. That's why Facebook is one of the biggest companies in the world. It's because they have so much attention. People are scrolling on their app at all times. And so people want attention. And that's the economy. You're fighting over the attention that's in the world, and there's only a finite amount of attention. So the more attention you have, the more sales that you can have. And so the more that you're in a customer's inbox, the more likely you are to actually hold mental real estate and influence them to make a purchase. The next time that they go about their day and they have a need for your product, you will come to mind. That's the goal that we want. That's how you control and own the mind share of your niche. Where say you're in the ice bath niche, you want to be the go-to brand in that niche. And the only way to do that is by consistently being in your customer's face to where they automatically associate your product to their brand, to where you're in their face like 4 times a week on email. You're able to send to them cheap for email. Their friend mentions ice bath, and then they're like, do you have any recommendations? And then the person who has seen you multiple times is like, oh yeah, this brand I know is legit. Maybe they haven't even bought from you, but you're in their face and you are just the top of mind. That's what you want to be. And the goal of sending consistently is to get people in the habit of opening your emails. You have to send 3 to 4 campaigns per week to do this. This is an example of a brand that they were sending like once a week, twice a week. We ramped it up to 3 to 4 times a week. People think that lowers engagement, but you can see the open rates. 61%, up 15%, excellent. Click rate, up 1.77%, 2.79% click rate, placed order rate up, revenue per recipient up. People open emails. The more you send, the more likely they are to continue to open, because if you're sending randomly once a week in rushes of different campaign pushes, your list just won't get used to seeing you in there, and they'll skip out. You want to get people to open the emails because it's you sending it rather than opening the emails because of the subject line and the preview text. But the key here to do this is your content. Your campaign content and your calendar strategy is very unique from brand to brand, and it's one that deserves a lot of thought. Now, obviously, you don't want to send discounts every single email. People will lose interest. Your brand will become saturated in terms of like your branding. People will associate your brand with bad things. Now, I could come out here and say how many of each email type you should be sending a month. That would do no good for either of us, because it doesn't really matter what you and I think should be going out. It's your list that matters. And so you need to be testing. So for one of our clients, we only send value-based emails with soft sells in like the footer, and they perform awesome. The discounts and all that like hard stuff don't perform well. But for another client, the value emails just don't work. The subscribers are there to browse product and make purchases. That's all they're there for. So we pretty much only send product-based emails, and they perform incredibly well. It can take the better part of 6 months of sending 3 to 5 campaigns a week to really understand what your list wants. But I mean, in short, if we just want a shortcut, you want a healthy mix of product-focused emails, value-based content, text-based emails, and then classic like direct response, what you think of. Now, I've attached 2 sites here, really good emails and milled.com. These are my go-tos for getting inspiration for campaigns. So if you go to reallygoodemails.com, it's just essentially a massive database of really good emails. And so you can see a bunch here, and you can get all sorts of different ideas. So say you're like, oh shoot, I don't know what to build on my campaign calendar. You can look at this. They say they're in this many Target stores, and we're celebrating with a freebie. So maybe you have a recent thing that happened with your brand. You just opened up a new collection, and so we're giving a freebie for this new collection. Boom, there's an idea. Science-backed performance. Okay, you can make an email around a certain part of your product, like this shirt, the cotton behind it that they made, like what's the science behind it? Science-backed t-shirts, whatever you want to say. This is like kind of how you can get a lot of inspiration. So here's really good emails, just a ton of random emails to choose from. And then we have milled.com, which is another similar site, but this is just like the massive database of, you can find any email of any brand pretty much, and look at all their past emails that they've sent. So like say you want to do, I'm wearing a Lululemon shirt, so let's say we do Lululemon. Let's see if I want to spy into their emails, see what they're sending. Cool, let's go to US, Lululemon. Awesome, most recent emails. March 1st, February 28th, 27th, 26th. These are all their recent emails that they've sent out, and then you can see like Milled is really awesome if you want to spy on a specific brand. And like look at Lululemon, how much they send. You can tell what I mean. These big brands are sending a lot of emails because they know the value of staying in the inbox and staying top of mind. These are the brands that blow up, Lululemon. And just having an incredible product as well. So definitely use these for inspiration. Now, together, just to give you an even more live look at what this should look like, let's create a campaign schedule together. So I went ahead and made the main events. So the sale for St. Patrick's Day, theoretically, we're running it from Friday the 15th to Sunday the 17th. And so, or Monday the 18th. Oh my goodness. The 17th is St. Patrick's Day. So what you can see here, just like as I filled in these campaigns, just for the sale, we did a launch email, a reminder email, and then a last chance email. That's typically what you want to do. A lot of brands we see, like usually if you're smaller, you just do one email for the sale. Like, no, not everybody's going to buy on the first go, and you need to constantly remind them and then add some urgency. Just launching the sale and saying it's a flash sale isn't quite enough. You're not going to get as much traffic that you want. Maybe you'll get the most on that first one, but you're still going to have lots of traffic on the remaining two. So kind of like the go-to outline that you want to do is launch, reminder, closer. And that closer is going to pick up a lot of revenue. And so you can see here on the 15th, I marked general promo. So kind of just a general, hey, this is the sale. Shop now, shop the collection. And then 17th, we want to do the favorites. We want to specify, like, what are the favorites of this sale? What are the trending items? And then 18th, we're going to keep it real simple, last chance. That's kind of also another outline that we like to do. A general promo, and then a favorites, and then, like, the last chance, just like, this is it. That's a good thing to do. So that covers the sale. That's kind of the strategy that I'd recommend. If you're doing a multi-day sale, do this type of outline. And then we have new release, which is, I just made it up, Nike Tech Pants. I think those already exist, but we are going to make this the new release. So how should we build out a strategy around a new release? So typically, you want the launch day, and then we're going to want to also have a reminder. So let's just start with putting this on the 31st. We're going to put a reminder. And we're going to, actually, you know what, let's make it specific. Let's do testimonials of the Nike Tech Pants, because usually you can at least have early release people who got testimonials. That's going to be great. This is going to serve as our reminder. And then if you want to, we'll see how the rest of this calendar plays out. We can do a teaser on like this day, new release teaser. So you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this a step further. You can see, like, as we build out the strategy, what this looks like. Because the thing with like a new release teaser, you do something like this, you're not making revenue really on this day. You're building up hype. But how you can make revenue is, let's just make this a general campaign. Let's just have it be a general campaign, make it green. And we'll just do favorite pants and then tease tech. So we're going to have the regular email where it's like, hey, these are our favorite pants. Like, go take a look. Just browse our products. And then somewhere in the email, we're going to be like, hey, guess what's coming on the 28th. And so that way we're kind of mixing what we're doing. So there. Now we kind of have our main events that we're doing. And that's 6 emails. So we want 3 to 4 email campaigns a week. So what I like to do to start is, when building a campaign strategy and calendar, we're just going to kind of slot in days and then move around from there. So let's say Monday, Wednesday. Here, this is going to be, let's do Monday, Wednesday, Friday for this week. We have the sale. Then let's fit 4 on the week before. I don't usually like to send back-to-back days unless it's a big sale. So you can do every other day. So we're going to do campaign there, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then we'll do Saturday. Then we have that, and then let's do for these, maybe we want to give a 2-day break after the sale. So maybe let's do something like this. And then let's do something like this. Sundays are usually a good day for sends in our experience. So how many campaigns is that? 1, 2, let's even add one on the 1st of March. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's 15 campaigns on the month. This is perfect, day apart, except for one of them being back-to-back days. Now let's actually think about what we want to run. So the 1st of March, what do we want to do for that campaign? So kind of going back to what I said on the previous docs that we covered, we want to make sure that we're mixing like product promos and we're mixing like, for example, value-based content, educational content. So on this 1st March, since it's the start of a new month, we're just going to do March favorites. We'll say these are the trending items heading into March, what people have been loving, so that people can play it. See, with fashion, we're doing Nike. With fashion, people really like to be up to date. So for some brand that's like selling hot tubs, it doesn't make sense to do like March favorites as much. And you don't want to be sending like seasonal stuff as option. But with fashion brands, you want to send like multiple a month. And so we're going to do March favorites, just a general happy March. These are what people have been loving going into the spring season, and then just outline some of the favorite products. So that's what we're going to do for Friday the 1st. I like that angle. And then for Sunday, let's make this more of a value-based campaign. Let's do something like Nike. So let's do the tech science. Science behind tech fleece. So we're going to go behind like that material, the Nike Tech, which they're releasing pants on. So this is priming people for that sale as well. You can kind of see like what goes in my mind is like I'm planning calendars. I want to build up as much hype for this as possible. And maybe we even tease it in this campaign as well. But we want to do like science behind the tech fleece. So like where does the material come from? Why is the material good? What does it feel like? And kind of go build a campaign around that. And then obviously like when you're talking about the science behind tech fleeces, you're talking about how awesome it is. Of course, like at the bottom of the email, you're showing here are favorite tech fleeces. And so you're selling, you're educating, and then you're also selling. And you're being altruistic because you want to give people the ability to make their own decision. If you say buy our stuff, they're not going to want to buy your stuff. So by saying like here's the science behind it, and then here are the products that actually use that science. If you like the science, you'd probably like the products. Shop now. It's going to perform a lot better than buy our stuff, buy our stuff, buy our stuff. So yeah. Now let's do let's do a single product feature. Let's do a collection feature. Let's do a single product feature on tech fleeces. So let's find our best-selling tech fleece. Best-selling tech fleece. And let's just do a single product promo here. That's going to kind of be our theme for the month since we have a release coming. So this is going to prime people even more for the release. And it's just going to be, this is the number one product. We're just going to show one product. This was like more general, the whole material, and what's going to work really well is giving people like the single bestseller. This is the one product because everybody says they want decisions, they want to be given options, but people hate options in marketing. People hate options. They say they want options, but they don't do options because if you see like 20 different options, people don't like making choices. So you kind of make the choice for them by showing the bestseller. So I like that one as well. And then what do we have here? So we have March favorites, science behind the tech fleece. We have the best-selling fleece. And then let's do something like, let's do a blog article. Let's just feature a blog. Blog, why? So running outdoors versus indoors. So I'm sure Nike has a blog about this. This can just be any type of blog email that you have. Blogs just like show that like you're not always trying to sell people and you're giving them value. And if there isn't a blog email, we can make one on running outdoors versus indoors. What are the pros and cons? That's just a good topic that would hit the Nike audience. And then let's let's do, we're gonna be like hard selling over here, so we want to make this like a more of a nurture campaign as well. So why don't we just do, thinking something social proof, probably, let's do celebrities. Celebrity feature. And then see what type of UGC they've gone recently from celebrities, from athletes, and see if you can make a campaign around that. Like say you have Tom Brady, he recently did like a photo shoot or something. Let's just have an email about that photo shoot and Tom Brady wearing the products. And that's going to be strong after a sale, just to keep it light for the email list so that you're not just always in their face selling. So that's good. I like that. Let's think of another campaign. Let's do a restock as well. Restocks perform well. Do they necessarily have to be your product actually sold out? No, because you can have a restock on an item that didn't sell out. Say you had 100 units left, and then you got like a new shipment of like 500 more units, technically a restock. And restock insinuates that your product went out of style, or it went out of stock, so people love it. So restocks work really well. So let's do a restock here. Restock. Let's do these shoes, and we'll feature like shoes that were restocked recently. And then you could be like 5 different shoes that have restocked, and that's going to perform well. Restocks perform well, and they're hidden salesy type emails where it doesn't seem like you're being salesy, but promoting your products. So that's perfect. Now let's do another educational. Let's do a science. Let's do like a study here. Outline scientific study. So stuffy. Whatever scientific study you can find that's been done on Nike, that Nike has done, like anything that has to do with like your heart rate while you work out, what your resting heart rate should be, something like that. And any type of scientific study that's out there related to athletics, just create an email about it. And then have like learn more button that leads to a feature on the site or something, and you're going to get traffic off that. So that's perfect. And then now we have these 2 last campaigns. So we have releases, we have celebrity feature, we have all this stuff. Let's see if we can do. Let's do a promo. Free X with X. Let's do like a free hat with orders above 150. So hats, usually you can have pretty high margins on. Pick whatever hat you want that has high margins and do any order above 150, you get a free hat. And do something like that and just make it a quick flash type of discount. We can mark that as a sale. It's not really a sale. It's more of an offer. Get your AOV up. But that's always strong to do. Pick something that you have high margins on and then make a sale around it. Or not a sale, but like free with X. That's perfect. And then this last campaign, let's do something informational as well. What could we do here? Let's do a tips email. Let's do something health related. Tips for maybe like tips for stretching or warming up. Tips for warming up before exercise. So you just like outline tips, what you should do. New study proves that you should do this. This is the best stretches to do. And perfect. And look at that. We have a calendar. We just made a calendar live that has a great balance of like sales stuff, restocks, new releases, everything like that, and then educational content. And you can see what I mean by providing value and not being overly salesy. You things like tips for warming up. And probably in this email, at some point in the email, you're going to be featuring your products in some fashion. Like warm up with your, like say if you're running, you're doing, it's directed towards like sprinters on track. You say warm up in shoes that have this type of technology that protects your shins while you're warming up. And then you have a link to your shoes that have those Air Max functionality. Those are going to get sales. So you say you warm up with that before you put on your track cleats, like things like that. You're soft selling here, and you're being altruistic, and you're leading the customer towards decisions that in their mind they're making themselves. That's what you want to do. You want to give them the idea that they are making the decision for themselves when really you're guiding them into the decision. Then we have like science behind tech fleece. It's not a selling email, but this is like tech fleeces, and if you like the science, you'd like the product. March favorites, we're showing the products. This is a great balance, and so this would probably perform really well. This is a healthy cadence, and this would be sent to, we'll say send to 90-day engaged, sale sent to 180-day engaged. We'll do sale and release sent to 180-day engaged, because we want to open up the list for those big events. So perfect. There we go. Alrighty, so we've just finished our campaign calendar. I've attached it here just so we can refer to it in the future. And then I also want to touch on some more non-discount campaign ideas so that you can, apply these to yourself. And I've taken this from a past asset of mine, which I have used, and I still stand by it. These are just absolutely killer non-discount campaign ideas. So maybe you've seen them before, but I just want to quickly run through them. One great thing is holiday emails. You can find a holiday that you can connect your brand's niches in any way, serious or silly. How about sending an email for International Women's Day? That's a great email to send. Or how about National Siblings Day, National Pancake Day, National Ride a Camel Day? You can literally find a holiday for anything, for any day. You just look up on Google National Holiday Calendar, and there's like 20 different holidays every single day, and you can create an email around that. And that's super easy to do. Easy way to like fill in if you don't know. I don't know what to put for Tuesday the 17th. Look up what holidays are on Tuesday the 17th, and I'm sure you can find something that you could spin up a random angle on. Then we have how it's made / what's inside. Your customers are very curious about your products, and your ingredients are your unique selling proposition. Every product is different, and everybody knows that, but like, what makes them different? Your ingredients. That's the only thing that makes them different. So talk about that. People want to know. This builds trust and gets your subscribers even closer to your brand. So important that I even said it twice. But yeah, I mean, it may be common knowledge to you, as Claude Hopkins has gone into in a lot of his copywriting resources. What may seem like common knowledge to you is not to other people. Like for the Nike example, maybe like to Nike people, it's like common knowledge why you should use cotton or polyester, whatever material they're using. But to like the regular person, they have no idea why that's important and why that is inside the hoodie. So that's something you can do. Growth update. People love to be a part of a community that is growing. The ability to be early on a brand and say, I was following them since they were at XYZ point is a flex. I do this all the time when I'm like, I've had this shirt since the brand was at like 50,000 followers on Instagram, and now they're at 5 million. Like, I'm a loyal person. And so you want to give them that ability. Give them the ability to do that flex. So let them know of your growth as you go. Give at least quarterly updates is what I like to do. What's happened over the past quarter. And you can see like example here. Growth updates are a great way to build the community. And then single benefit outline, focusing on one unique selling proposition. Do this by highlighting one product feature or benefit in each email. You don't want to overwhelm your subscribers with, these are all 50 benefits of using us. Like, that's just overwhelming, and that's not going to drive home any of them, because you're just going to like slightly touch on one of them rather than going super deep on one specific benefit. And if you want multiple products, make a series out of it. And always remind your customers and subscribers what your brand stands for. You can never promote your benefits too often, but I really want to stress single benefits. Focus on one single benefit. Like for the Nike Tech hoodie, how the Tech hoodie keeps you from sweating. I don't know. That could be like one. And then how the Nike Tech hoodie is so comfortable. Why it's so comfortable. That's another benefit. Maybe another benefit is it keeps you warm when it's cold outside. Talk about the heat insulation technology. This keeps you warm. Those are 3 different emails, different benefits, rather than putting them all in one email and diluting the value. All right, my computer crashed, but we're back. We just talked about the single benefit outline, and then moving on to the next, we have back in stock. This is pretty self-explanatory, but this is a great way to show your products and sell, like without like hard selling people. So yeah, essentially, it's your excuse to show off a product. And so an item being back in stock implies that it ran out of stock, meaning that it's a popular product. Like, why else would it go out of stock? And so you really want to do these like at least once a month for some of your best selling products and get some urgency behind it. Like it runs out of stock. Now, you don't necessarily have to have a product run out of stock to be able to say restock. If you refill, if you have like new inventory in, or your warehouse just refilled, that can turn into a restock where it's just like, hey, we restocked on this product. Same message comes across, and these are going to work really well for you. And then we have a product guide. So this is going to depend, like how this looks is going to depend on the brand and what you offer. My favorite, like if you are in the fashion industry, is doing like a style guide, like how to style this item. And just kind of like best looks, how to wear this. And so show people who use the product and then achieve the desired outcome, some outfit inspiration. These can work really well. If you sell like a beauty product or something, you're going to want to explain like how to actually apply it, how to use it. Product guides are really useful because this is going to tell the customer this is exactly what's going to happen after you purchase. Product guides are very good. And then next, we're going to go to trending products, which again is very self-explanatory and the easiest email type because it's always going to drive consistent sales. And you could have an email strategy where you only send trending products and you're going to do well. These can rip if you have the right products and the graphics in. Really want to play here with seasonal selling. This is something we've noticed by sending a lot of trending product emails and popular product emails. The ones that do the best are the ones that are tied into the seasons. People love buying with the seasons. They love buying new. It's like right now you should be sending, like, for example, if you're in springtime, if it's March, you want to be sending like the spring favorites and then start doing prepare for summer. People love, love, love buying with the seasons. I do multiple a month, or at least throughout your emails should have like trending product sections. So like after you get your point across at the top of the email, at the bottom at least have like this is what's trending. Be able to link exactly to products PDP pages to remove friction for the buyer. It's like right here, show exactly like this should be linking directly to the product PDP. And that's going to help as well. Then we have new product drop. Now your brand, especially if you have, unless you're a one product store, but you want to be adding new products a minimum once a month. I know that may sound like a lot, but just new variants. And if you are a fashion brand, for example, it's not too hard to do new variants, new colorways, things like that once a month. This keeps your brand followers engaged and always looking forward to something, and that's just going to build loyalty. It'll keep people on your list because they want to see like what's next. And it's building out your collection, of course. You can turn one drop, a simple drop, into 3 to 4 emails with a teaser, drop, and reminders, and that's 25% of your email sends for the month. You can do a teaser email, you can do a drop email, you can do a reminder, you can do a second reminder if you wanted. And then if you you can make it like a limited drop where it's only available this week, and then we'll open it back up like a few months later. We've seen that do well as well. New product drops. And the last one, this one can be super easy, is reviews. Now, a lot of brands do review emails wrong by making them lame, where it's just like, here are reviews. Our customers love these. And it's like, that's just so basic, and people have seen those. It's very saturated, and everybody knows what to expect with reviews. And people know that people know you have good reviews. So you want to make sure that you take time in picking out good reviews that are going to address points directly and just add a twist. One thing that you can do in a twist is do fun reviews or like wildest customer reviews and pull out some actually like funny reviews. These can take some digging, but they can be worth it. Like for example, if you have like a phone case brand, I've seen one review of a phone case brand where it was like, I accidentally threw my phone out my window while I was driving on the freeway and my phone was unharmed. This case is awesome. Things like that, like find those and you can create whole emails out of them. Those are going to work really well. So just to recap, we have review emails, new product drop emails, trending products emails, product guide, back in stock, single benefit outline, growth updates, how it's made / what's inside, and then holiday emails for non-discount campaign ideas. That right there, that's how you're able to do kind of like what I did and build out a whole entire strategy in just a few minutes. If you have a bunch of these kind of like in your back pocket, then you can use them whenever. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next part of the video. Alrighty, now that we know how to set the strategy for our emails, we can get to the fun part, which is actually creating them. So in this first example, I'm just going to be creating this design right inside of Klaviyo just because it's the easiest and it's going to be just the best option for most people. Then once you get advanced and you really want to focus on like branding and more advanced design stuff, then you can switch to designing on a separate platform such as Figma, which is what we use. But for now, we're just going to build this inside of Klaviyo. So we just want to go to the campaigns tab. We're just going to create a new test, save and continue. And then we'll just do the newsletter list here. Nobody we don't want to send to. And then subject line and preview text, we're just putting some placeholders here. And then we just want to do drag and drop. And we're just going to go with the template just because this is super easy. Guys, you just really want to make life as easy as possible for you. So let's go on ahead. I think this is good because really we're just going to keep it simple. We're just going to show a picture. We're going to have some copy about March and the March favorites, and then we're going to show some of the products at the bottom. So let's just do this outline. Let's go with this and we'll be good. So here we are inside of the builder. So right off the bat, so you can see up here, you have desktop and then mobile. Look at how overwhelming these buttons are at the top. So when you have these nav buttons at the top of your email, that's going to distract people from the real thing that you're trying to sell, which is we're trying to sell the March favorites. So when you have all this just right in your face, it distracts people and it can scare them off having so many options in their face. So we're just going to remove this whole entire thing. And we just want to remove the whole entire header bar. And we're going to place just a regular logo at the top. We're just going to use an image and I'm going to upload it here. So there it is. There's the top logo. We're going to remove this top text because it's really not needed. And then look at that. That already kind of looks like a Nike email, to be quite honest. So right up here, we're going to choose a new photo, which I'm going to grab in. I'm just going to replace this photo, and then I'll see you in a second. But we just uploaded this photo. Let's crop this to make it a little bit smaller, not as tall. There we go, because we don't want the user to have to scroll so much to get to the actual meat of the email. So then this is a solid outline again, so we're going to have this text and then we're going to have a button. Obviously we don't want to say bouquet blog, so let's just change this to shop favorites, and this whole entire thing, all this copy that we're going to do is going to be about the March favorites. And so if we take a look at their site, I'm going to go look at some of their favorites. So we're going to focus on trail running because that was the picture that we used in the main header. So looking at some of these products, we have shoes, we have jackets, everything like that. And so people are focused on the rain and bad weather. So let's make that kind of like a core part of our copy. So I think something strong for our headline can be something like wind, in the wind, sun, or rain. So we're going to go sun, rain, or shine. We're not worrying too much here about branding. Let's just get this out and put it together. Then you can apply your own logos and whatnot. And then we're going to put some copy. And so we're going to talk about something motivational, because I think that definitely hits the Nike vibe, and then we're going to transition that into our products. We're going to change this background to a white background. So I'm going to do that right now. Alrighty, so we just changed the headline to just rain or shine, and then some motivational copy, and then transitioned that into March. So some use the rain as an excuse to stay in, others use it as an excuse to get better, prepare yourself for whatever Mother Nature decides to throw at you with our March favorites. Then we just changed the button to shop favorites. So notice how this is a triangle right here. This is going to work really well for you in terms of conversions. You just easily guide somebody's eyes down into the button, and that works super well for conversions. And so you really don't need to get too fancy here. I kind of abandoned the outline because now I just want to show customers they have a way to just shop the whole collection. And now I want to show the customers, hey, these are a couple products for you. And so we've picked for you here. And then let's do a table here and have just name of the product and then a picture of the product. So we'll go just like this, and then for a table here, if we want to add some more rows, then we add another row here. So let's do 3. And then you'll see it automatically puts text on the left and then pictures on the right. So for here, if we go back to content, we can choose what we want. So let's have it rotate. So let's have this one be an image and then this one be text. Just like this. And then we'll fill in some products here. So I'm going to go to their site, pick a couple products from the collection, and then list them out here. Alrighty, so we just pulled these from the site, from the collection. So we have a men's item, a woman's item, and then an item that's man or woman generally. And then we have the just footer, social links. This is perfect. So this is kind of like the overall outline that you kind of want for most emails. You want to have just a main header image, some body copy, maybe a headline, and then a shop collection button. And then you want to give them some options to actually shop at the bottom. And then almost most importantly, you want to make sure that you put another button underneath, because what this does is after somebody scrolled, they check out these items. Maybe they didn't find the exact one they want. You want to give them the option to keep on shopping. So that's perfect here. And then you just link to the collection, and then this is going to be a solid email to send out. And yeah, it gets the point across perfectly. So now let's do subject line and preview text. Subject line, let's do rain or shine. And then we'll put a running, actually let's do shoe. Let's do a running shoe. I think that will look good. Nope, not quite. Shoe, rain or shine. Shop our March favorites and get prepped for the seasons. Perfect. And that is going to be just fine. It's going to be a solid email to send out to your list. And one more thing, just so I don't forget, you want to make sure that you're adding links to all your images. So if you click on all your images and your buttons, if you see this link address here, this is where you can add links. So you can do Nike.com here, and then if anybody clicks, it's just going to send to Nike.com. Then for here, you're going to want to send to the product collection. And then here, you're going to want to send to the exact product. If you're using text, which I am here, you can just highlight this, add a link right here, and then if anybody clicks that, then they will. And also you want to make sure that you're adding the link to the images as well, so people have that option. And then of course the link here at the bottom, the unsubscribe is going to be taken care of for you, and then you can add in your social links as well. And now we are going to talk about flows, which are the automated emails inside of your account. These are super important, and these should be around 50% of your total email marketing revenue. So again, I like to use the example of like a fly fisherman is what flows are, the emails, and then campaigns are like casting a wide net with just throwing a net out there, a fish, and you're throwing to a bunch of people, whereas flows, you're pinpointing and targeting specific people when they do a specific task. So again, what? Flows are a series of emails sent to a recipient after they complete a specified action, such as abandon cart. Flows are automatically triggered, and these differ from campaigns, which are sent manually to the whole list. Now, why should you have flows? Flows contribute to the customer experience via personalization. Different customers at different parts of the customer journey need different information, such as somebody who just joins the email list. They need different information than maybe someone who's bought 2 times before in the past and they just abandoned a cart. Set up flows once and orders will automatically be coming in forever. Obviously, you really want to be optimizing your flows over time, but on a deep level, you set up the flows and they'll always be firing. So how do we do this? We're pinpointing these specific customers at whatever point they are in the customer journey, finding what info resonates with them the most, and then we're using Klaviyo triggers, and we turn the Klaviyo flows active, and the emails will automatically start firing. And again, I will walk this through Klaviyo with you, but for a little bit more background, why should you be meticulously tracking and approving flows? Just to reiterate again, flows contribute via personalization. So you set these up once, and they'll automatically be coming in every day. Like for example, for this client, we're bringing in almost 43% of the total revenue, total email revenue on autopilot, $263,000 per month on autopilot. That's why I use flows. You can see right here, that's 42.87% of the total revenue over a 30-day prior period. And again, how to use flows, you're pinpointing specific customers wherever they are with the Klaviyo triggers. So each brand is different and has a different customer journey, which is why like no flow system can be templatized. You have the base stuff that you want, which we'll talk about. You'll have the welcome flow, you'll have cart abandon and checkout abandon, you'll have the browse abandon flow and the post-purchase flow. But everything inside of there can't quite be templatized because every brand is different. That's what a lot of people do wrong. They have cookie cutter flow strategies and everything's templatized, but what works for a beauty brand is going to be different than what works for a canned beans brand. These flows are differently. You're going to want to be giving different information. For example, a high ticket product, you may need to focus more on education in your welcome flow. You may want to have more social proof emails, just to lay out the facts in a logical order to get people to buy in a logical way. Versus with low ticket products, you really want to promote impulse purchases and play into short-term emotions in direct response. And that's going to work best. That's why you can't really have a cookie cutter strategy. Again, this all depends on your customer and if they are an emotional buyer or logical buyer. These are things we take into consideration when building out base flow strategy. That being said, if you've seen my other videos, this is a flow outline, which I've touched on before. I have a full guide on flows if you want to watch it, and we'll touch on that a little bit down here below. But you can see here we have the welcome flow, site abandon flow, browse abandon flow, cart abandon flow, post-purchase flow, replenishment reminder flow, win-back flow, sunset flow, and VIP flow. Kind of a lot there. Now, this doc will be in the description for you to have. But we're going to briefly go through all of these flows and then show you inside Klaviyo how to make them. But I've also made a full video just on setting up flows. It gives you everything you need, so I recommend you check that out. In this, I'm just going to go over things briefly and go over what kind of the high priority flows are. So the highest priority flows, definitely the welcome flow. Every brand needs a welcome flow right after somebody joins the list. And we'll click on here and look in a second. You're definitely going to want to browse abandon flow. Somebody views a product, but they don't end up purchasing. And you most definitely want cart abandon and checkout abandon flows. Definitely. This is going to be your highest money maker as well as a welcome flow. And then lastly, you should have a post-purchase flow just to thank people for their purchases, get requests, build up excitement. Those are kind of these 1, 2, 3, 4 are kind of the ones that you really want to focus on. If you don't have a lot of time, you should at least get these ones set up. And the others I do view as base flows, such as the site abandon flow, win-back flow, VIP, and sunset flow. But at the end of the day, if you're sending campaigns consistently, you don't as much need these. So let's click on to the welcome flow and learn a little bit about it. So what is the welcome flow? 4 to 12 emails set up for when somebody joins your email list. We want to deliver the welcome discount, educate them on the brand, showcase your products, and this is the exact trigger and filter which you want to use inside of Klaviyo. Here's an outline that you can use. This is a bit long. Some brands may not want to do 8 to 12 emails, but I highly recommend you do. The more emails you have, kind of the better to really educate people to making a purchase because, again, people need a lot of information to make purchases these days. So we have a welcome discount. We're going to resend that email to non-openers. We have a bestsellers promotion, brand history, testimonials, everything of that. Here are some email examples. You can kind of get the messaging here. Again, you can check this out, this doc in the description. You see hello world, just kind of going over unique selling propositions. You have our story email, and then you have an email delivering the welcome discount. You can also see you will have Klaviyo set up right here for you. We can go on ahead and watch it. I'll just watch it with you so you can see how to do it inside Klaviyo. So you click onto flows, go to create flow, create from scratch, name it welcome series, whatever you want to name it. You want to choose the list, click continue, and then now you're inside of the flow builder. So if you click onto the trigger, you'll see it's when someone subscribes to newsletter. You want to add a filter here of what somebody has done, and you want to do placed order 0 times since starting this flow. Now what that filter is going to do is anytime before somebody receives an email, they're going to run through that filter. Have they placed order 0 times since starting this flow? If that's true, and they haven't placed an order, they will receive the email. If they have placed an order, then they will not receive the remaining emails and they will be exited the flow. Now you want to do that because you have the discount in the welcome flow, and if somebody uses it, then you want to remove them. So that's exactly why you do that. Next, speeding through, we'll go briefly over the site abandoned flow, which is essentially somebody goes to your site and doesn't purchase. I like to keep this nice and quick, just one email, just show off your products and be like, hey, thanks for stopping by the site. Here's kind of some more options for you to choose from. That's really what you want to do. You just want to bring them down the funnel. And so a lot more filters that you have on this one. The trigger is just as somebody is active on site, which you need the Klaviyo Shopify site tracking enabled, which we went over earlier in this video. But you want to make sure that if anybody views product, adds to cart, goes to checkout, or makes a purchase, that they're not receiving this flow, because this flow is saying you abandoned site, Whereas if somebody abandons their cart, we want to send them the cart abandon flow. So here's just a full flow outline. It's just one email. Triggers active on site. Email ones just need help. Here's some of our favorites. You can get really good engagement on these. 70% open rate, 0.6% placed order rate, 2.4% click rate, and some extra revenue that without this flow probably would have been lost. So here's like kind of an example of the messaging. Lost in choices, let us point you in the right direction. So here's the Klaviyo setup. We can go over it here. You just want to go over to flows, create a flow, create it from scratch, and name it the site abandon flow. And then once we get inside to the trigger builder, you want to use a metric, and then you just want to use the active on-site trigger. Now we need to build out the filters. So essentially, kind of like what I showed before, we want to go through anybody who's gone farther in the funnel. So we're going to do viewed product 0 times since starting this flow. And make sure you click and. So we're going to do and added to cart 0 times since starting this flow. And we're going to do checkout started 0 times since starting this flow. And of course, we're going to do as placed order 0 times since starting this flow. There we go. And then we want to make sure that people aren't always receiving this flow. So something good to always put is somebody has not been in this flow. So that's a separate thing. You can do what somebody has not been in this flow. Anywhere from 14 days to 45 days is what you want to do. I typically do has not been in this flow in the last 30 days. And then once all set, everybody will run through those filters before they receive the email. And then moving right along, we have the browse abandoned flow, which is similar to abandoned site, but it's somebody actually views a product. So they got a little bit farther down in the funnel to where they found a product that maybe they had interest in and they viewed it, but they didn't get far enough to add it to their cart. So we want to send them a few emails here, 3 to 8 emails set up for when somebody views a product. Why do you want to do this? You want to remind them, you want to intrigue them on the product, and then give them some social proof. And here are the triggers and filters. Triggers, somebody views a product. Filter, adds to cart since starting this flow. Goes to checkout, makes a purchase. Has not been in this flow for 30 days. Here's kind of what the flow outline looks like. We have a nudge, testimonials, product info, risk reversals, and urgency. And then we're going to split based on if somebody's purchased recently. And if they haven't, we're going to give them a flash discount. Here's kind of the messaging that you want to do. Kind of, we're here to help. Did you forget something? You left something behind. And then you want to actually show the item that they physically left behind. It's going to be very effective. And so for the Klaviyo setup, similar thing here. You want to create flow, and then the metric is going to be viewed product. Metric is just going to be viewed product. And we don't need to watch all of these since you kind of know what's to come, so you can see the metric, viewed product. And then for the filters, you're just going to want to do the filters that I put above here. Adds to cart, goes to checkout, makes a purchase, has not been in this flow. You want to make sure these are 0 times. All of these are 0 times, and then has not been in this flow in the last 30 days. Similar situation for cart and checkout abandon. Remember, abandoned checkout and abandoned cart are different triggers, but we're going to be sending them the same exact emails, just different triggers. And so we just want to remind them, show them how awesome the product is, give some social proof, reverse risk. And here we have the different filters for abandoned cart and then abandoned checkout. Slightly different. It's just abandoned checkout is one step closer. And you can see kind of the flow outline here. We have a reminder, another reminder, and then we're splitting based on the product. So we can do that in Klaviyo, product promo, reviews of product, urgency, last chance. Then if they have or haven't made a purchase, we're going to send them a discount, just like with the browse abandon. And for the messaging, you can see very, very similar. Similar to the browse abandon, going camping soon, we saved your cart, forget something, you want to talk directly to them and show their cart exactly. So you can see the Klaviyo setup here. Same sort of thing. This is for cart abandon. I'll zoom up here. We want to do metric and then cart abandon. Now to note, this video that you'll see inside the document is just the abandoned cart flow. For the abandoned checkout, all you want to do is exit out and you want to clone this flow and then just change the trigger to checkout abandon. And that's going to give you all the same emails. Once you build out all the emails, that'll give you all the emails, all the links. You just need to change the trigger because the content we want the same for cart abandon and checkout abandon. So those are all the pre-purchase flows: cart abandon, checkout abandon, browse abandon, site abandon, and the welcome flow. Let's get into the post-purchase flows, which are after somebody makes a purchase. So the first one is called the post-purchase flow. So if we expand in, we have what, why, how for each one, what is crossed off. But we're sending 4+ emails sent after somebody places an order with you. You could make it one email to make your life a lot easier, but we recommend having some post-purchase upsells, some review requests, everything like that, and just contribute to the experience by giving them like reminders like, hey, your order is on your way. Those are going to really help. So again, why? Thank them sincerely, remove buyer's remorse, and get them excited for their order. You want to have a light nudge to add, get some upsells in there, and then also get a review. So the trigger is just somebody places an order, and then filter, you don't need any. We're not going to be kicking people out from this flow. Anybody who places an order is going to receive all these emails. So we start off, we're going to split based on the number of purchases. So we have first purchase, second purchase, third purchase, fourth purchase, and fourth plus purchase. And this is just going to be a note saying thank you. Thank you so much for your order. It means the world. And you want to speak directly to them if they've purchased once, if they've purchased twice, if they've purchased 3 times, if they've purchased 4 times. So like on the first purchase, you want to say, thank you so much for making your first purchase with us. We hope you love it. And then for somebody with like 4 purchases, you want to be like, thank you so much for coming back. You're a valued customer. You're a VIP, whatever you want to say. And that's going to really mean a lot to the customer. And then we want to follow that up about a day later with just like, do you want anything else? You can still add to your order. We'll try our best to fit it in one shipment. This is going to get you a good amount of clicks as well. And then we want to say getting excited, just show them kind of their product in another email to get them excited. And then if you have a product that needs like tips or instructions for how to use it, you want to split based on the product and then send them tips for how to use it. And then email 5 down the line, you want to ask for a review. So here are kind of some examples. You have this one is like a direct right after somebody purchases. Thank you for your purchase. There's a note here, and then there's a summary of what they bought. And then similar for this one is kind of like a how to use, like we talked about, where we're splitting by the product. It's cleanse time. Here's maximize your cleanse with these tips, get the most out of your product. These are going to be really helpful as well. So for Klaviyo setup, very similar as well. We just want to create from scratch, name it post purchase. And then just the trigger is going to be somebody's placed order. And then we are doing no filters at all. It's just placed order. And then you can move on to the next one, build out your emails within the flow builder. Just like that, you are all set. Next, we have the win back flow, which is essentially Grumpy Cat's flow. It is 3 to 10 plus re-engagement emails sent 60 days plus after prior purchase. It's essentially you want to win these people back. They've bought from you before, and you want to get them back. So we want to encourage repeat purchases to increase your lifetime value, remind them to replenish on the items they bought, and then also give recommendations and use the information that they gave you originally to influence them to make another purchase. So if they buy one item, you can cross-sell them another based on what you know is bought frequently together. So how our trigger is going to be what somebody has done, somebody has placed order, and then we're just going to put a time delay of 60 days. And the filter is someone makes a purchase and starting this flow. If they end up buying, you want to remove them from the flow. So you can change your trigger to however many days ago. Here's kind of the outline. You just want to speak directly to them. We miss you. Are you still interested? And then you can have a flash discount. Usually that's something smart to do if you wait long enough. And some examples, like if it's a food, if it's a replenishable, this can be really easy to just say, like, is your pantry starting to run low? It's time to order again. Or if you're a clothing brand, you can do something like new memories with new outfits await, something like to play into somebody's emotions. So for the trigger, we just do placed order, and then you set a time delay. So the trigger is placed order, and then you can just see I dragged in a time delay here, and then you can set it to whatever you want. In this case, it was 75 days. And then you want to add a filter, what somebody has done, and you want to do placed order 0 times since starting this flow. so that if anybody before the 75-day mark doesn't purchase, then, or if they do purchase, they're going to be kicked out from the flow. So that is the win-back flow. Now we have kind of a similar post-purchase flow as like the regular post-purchase is the VIP, which is exactly as it sounds. You want to reward the people who are helping your brand build. So 3+ emails welcoming someone to the VIP club and rewarding them. Why 50% of your revenue is going to come from 10% of your customers. So make sure that you treat them well. Reward them with deals and then make them fans of the brand. So on top of these flows that we're sending them, it might be helpful to send like a monthly campaign just to your VIPs, saying something like some exclusive behind the scenes information or early access to a new release. That can really help with getting people to stay with your brand. So how we just want the trigger to be someone places an order 5+ times over all time, and then filter someone has been in this flow over all time, because we want to make sure that they haven't been in it. We just want to send them through it once. So if somebody makes their 9th purchase, they're not receiving the same flow that they got on their 5th purchase. You can do whatever for your VIP trigger. You can do number of purchases, or you can do amount of dollars spent. I typically like to do number of purchases just because it's easier to track. Because if you have like, if your trigger is somebody has spent $1,000 at your store, you don't really know when somebody's going to hit that, because if somebody's at like 400, they could spend $600 on their next purchase and make it. You have no way of predicting that. Whereas with placed order, if somebody's at 4 purchases, then you know for a fact the next time they purchase, they're going to be a VIP. So it's much easier to predict. So just the full flow outline, we keep it really simple. Just the trigger. Somebody places the 4th or the 5th. For this one, we did 4th because it was 4-time trigger. And then you have just email 1, welcome in VIP. Thank you so much for being a valued customer. Email 2, take your discount, whatever the discount is, and then discount expiring. That's really all you need for the VIP. Make them feel special, and then send them exclusive campaigns. So for Klaviyo setup, there are a couple different ways that you could do this, but for this one, we did an actual trigger of somebody placed order, and then we made sure that it was 5 people over all time. So just went to metrics, placed order, and then trigger setup. We want to make sure that the placed order is equals 5 over all time. So that's what a trigger filter, flow filter can help you do. It'll make sure that only people who have made 5 purchases are receiving these emails. So even if somebody makes a purchase during the flow, that would mean they have 6 and they won't receive the remainder of the emails. And then last but not least, we have the sunset flow, which isn't a revenue getter, it's a list cleaner flow. So it's just going to be one email sent to somebody who hasn't engaged with your email in a long time, and you're just going to improve your deliverability. You're going to give them one last chance to join the email list. Try to re-engage them. If they don't join, that's fine. But how we're going to do, somebody hasn't opened an email in 120 days with just no filter. And then if somebody opens the email, they're going to automatically be back into an engaged segment. So you can kind of see the messaging here on the email that you want to send. Is this the end? We hate goodbyes. Still a little bit lost on the flows, then you can just use Klaviyo's flow outlines, which if you just go to create flows in the top right corner, in the examples I showed you, we were just creating from scratch up in the corner here. But you can use all of the outlines that Klaviyo gives you. And pretty much all of the flows that I showed you have a complete outline inside of Klaviyo. So for example, let's go to like browse abandon. Let's look at their browse abandon. We can see that the name, just browse abandon standard, I'll just put test. They just send one email, but this is going to help you with the trigger, so you don't really have to set up the trigger. So let's go ahead and create flow here, and I'll show you around the builder a little bit and what it looks like if you use a Klaviyo flow. So the trigger, you can see they already put viewed product, perfect, and then flow filters. Similar to what I said, they did checkout started 0 times to starting this flow, placed order 0 times to start this flow, has not been in this flow in the last 30 days. But the thing is, they didn't take into account the added to cart trigger. So you also want to make sure you have and what someone has done, placed order, and that's what we want to do. Placed order 0 times, or added to cart, that's my fault, 0 times since starting this flow. And then you are good to go. So just make sure that you're double checking there. Then you can even see in the email that they create, there is a they create an outline already for you. So it's perfect. They show you the products and everything's already loaded. And then when you're in the flow builder here, you can add your time delays, which we kind of touched on earlier in this video. You can add time delays. You add your other emails just by dragging them in here. Don't really need a full tutorial on this. You're smart, and I think you can figure it out. Some advanced flow stuff that you may want to do, such as splitting your flow based on what people have triggered or been. Some other advanced stuff in your flows that you might want to do are conditional splits and trigger splits. So more often than not, you're going to be using conditional splits, which is just something about the profile that you are looking at and the people that are entering the flow, what tracks you want to send them in. So what this is going to do is this is going to create a split where you have yes or no. So essentially, you build out the logic of what people will go to yes and what people will go to no. So if you just want to do a random sample, like you want to do an A to B test, you can just go down here to random sample and split it 50-50. And you'll have half people go down this track, and you can send them an email. And then you can have half the people go down this other track and receive a different email. And then you can test and look at the results over time. Other things you can do with conditional splits are properties about someone. So if you tag somebody with a certain thing, like maybe you only want to show this to people in the US, so country equals United States. And then the United States, we just have the yes people. You'd send your United States side down this side, and then non-US based down this side. A common one that you're going to want to do is just what somebody has done. In this, just like the filters, you can choose like a metric. So you can say placed order 0 times over all time. And then you will have people, yes, they have placed an order before, which these are your past buyers. You can send them separate emails versus people who haven't bought from you before, your non-buyers. So maybe for these people, you're more inclined to send them a discount to get them to actually buy in to the brand and buy your products. And then you have trigger splits here, which aren't as common that you'd use, but the trigger splits are going to be filtering based on the actual trigger. So our trigger here is the viewed product. And so if you want to add further specifications and add a split based on that trigger and taking it a step further, then that's what you use trigger splits for. So maybe you want to split viewed product and you want to split by the exact category that the person browsed. So if we were doing the Nike example, you want to do a split based on if somebody bought shorts versus if somebody bought a t-shirt, or they viewed one of those items, then you can do that here and just split by the category and then look for the category here, and then they will be set up differently based on how you set it up. But trigger splits are valuable, but you can also do that in the conditional splits as well. You can do all this other fancy stuff, but really at the end of the day, you can get away with just doing, just laying out emails like this and then adding time delays, say 1 day, and then adding another email. At the end of the day, that's really all you need. The little stuff is only going to move the needle a little bit based on if you have the basics knocked down and you're executing at a high level on just the basics. And that does it for this complete Klaviyo tutorial. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can drop them in the comments or you can email me, max@wellcopy.net. Again, this was just a base tutorial. There's a lot more to email marketing. I highly recommend you check out my complete flows tutorial, which is going to go more in depth into flows, which we kind of only touched on a little bit here at the back half of the video. I also have an hour-long advanced email marketing guide, which is essentially everything you need to know about email marketing and the advanced strategy that you want to use. I hope you got some value from this, and let me know if you have any other videos that you guys would like me to create. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.